Hi, I'm Alex Brown.
And I'm Nicole Smithee. We're the co-founders of Iridescent Women, an online community committed to awakening brilliance in each other through real and honest conversations and connections.
And today we're having a conversation about what makes a woman bold.
I love this topic because, I think sometimes what gets applauded as being bold for a woman is a pretty limiting definition of what a woman really can bring to the table. Still, I think we've made a lot of progress.
Right.
We keep moving the needle forward. But you were telling me this just like a couple weeks ago. You were doing a search for like women who are bold in the news, and it was a bunch of fashion articles?
It was just what they were wearing. And it was like, I don't know, there was all these achievements by men and, politicians and business leaders and just men out in the world doing really great things.
Yeah.
And they were great articles to read, and all the articles about women were, she wore this, or she's launched this makeup line, or she's done, it was just all about what she was wearing.
Which, hey, I mean, that's fun to read too. But
I love a good red carpet dress, do not get me wrong. But
there's more to it than that. There's more that defines a woman's boldness than how she chooses to express her style outwardly.
Right. And there's women out there doing amazing things. It's not because women aren't doing those things that there's not enough news articles. It's just that we're not celebrating them and we're not talking about them.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge part. We're not celebrating them. I think when women dare to be bold outside of her physical appearance and kind of what is like stereotypically what a woman does, then I think it's met with sometimes like overly critiqued reviews, or she just gets scrutinized in a different way, or she gets completely ignored. There are stuff that women are doing that don't make the headlines all the time. And that's true of you could say that everybody. But one of the things that we love doing for Iridescent is trying to find those stories and share them with women in our community. And sometimes you have to dig pretty deep to find those stories.
Some weeks are real hard.
And it's not that hard to find those kind of stories when it comes to men in our world. And so I think there is that discrepancy, and that's where we can keep moving things forward, is sharing those stories. Sometimes women's boldness that's really being exercised in powerful ways is just going ignored by society. And that's okay, they're making a difference, but they're not hitting the headlines. Or critiqued, like Greta.
Greta.
Greta Thunberg just was Time Magazine's Person of the Year.
And she's getting flack for it.
She's getting a lot of flack. Why did they choose her? And listen, if climate change is not your biggest issue, that doesn't really matter. If we take a step back, we can, I believe we can respect that she's created a movement and she's trying to do good, and she's done all of this as a teenager. That's spectacular.
Hey, it's more than I've done lately, so.
Well, we're inspired by her, right? That's the point. So I don't know, I think it's pretty interesting that women being bold is met with, I think, a different level of opposition or critique than it is for men in our society today. I'm not trying to bash men. That's great that we share those stories, but it does show hey, this is an opportunity for us to really share the stories of women doing good and celebrate those stories, whether or not we agree with everything, just to be able to go, wow, you're bold, and you're using your boldness in a powerful way, and the article wasn't just about what you wore.
And the more stories that we have of women doing that, the more empowering it is for us to feel like we can step out and do these things and take control and talk about these certain issues and play our role in society. And another thing that stood out to me recently was you brought a story to me about Katie Holmes in Vogue Australia showing off her stretch marks, and
I was really excited. It says, whoa, and even the title of the article that I, heard about that and looked at those photos was she's being bold to not Photoshop that. And so I brought that kind of whoa, you'll love the story. And you were
I was so, I was so unimpressed. But it's because I feel like I've seen those stories before. I've seen models where it's headline news and they've shown off their stretch marks or haven't been Photoshopped. And I'm like, I am all for that. Show the realness of a woman. But at the same time...
But the realness of a woman is not boldness of a woman.
That's true.
That's maybe what it is,
Yeah, that's true. And it's still their appearance. I mean, I've got stretch marks. That doesn't make me bold, having stretch marks and going on the beach. It's just what my body is, so... And
maybe that is actually bold for a lot of women, but then it's an indicator of where we have to continue to grow and push things forward, because that shouldn't be... Yeah, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to be able to walk around with stretch marks and own your body and say I'm beautiful with stretch marks, or I'm beautiful with some cellulite, or whatever it might be.
Because of course you are.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Exactly. But that's not necessarily what
Right.
we've inherited, that like is what is sold to us as beauty.
Well,
so I can see that.
Well, to your point then, what do you think boldness is in a woman?
Yeah, I think that's such a great question. I guess for me, boldness would be somebody using their voice, like owning their voice and using it, but using it for the greater good, like using it for something just beyond themselves. Like, yes, it should be fulfilling for them and rewarding. I actually think like living beyond yourself is incredibly rewarding, but it's not just like hear me roar. It's like hear me roar so that we can like change something, you know, so we can leave a legacy for other people. I think that's boldness, and that's what our like world is yearning for, and that's the opportunity that every woman has.
I like that. Yeah, I think it's just about a woman stepping out and being her true self and being bold and brave and honest in all of those aspects. And I think to our point, like there's just so much more to a woman than her outward appearance. And I think being her true authentic self, and I'm speaking from personal experience. I think sometimes women don't always feel comfortable in the spaces that they're in to be completely authentically themselves, and to be able to step out in that, I think is true authentic boldness.
Oh, I love that. Well, hey, let's keep the conversation going. We want to hear from you. So let us know in the comments how you would define boldness, how you are exercising boldness in your season right now. And thanks for joining us. We look forward to a lot more of these videos. And hey, we just want to remind you, we believe that honest conversations can provoke change. So own your voice, share your story, keep it real.